on our way to go see what Gabe's up to. He got to the shop before I did today.
What's up, guys? Already started. Jason got here late as hell, so I have to do some stuff.
What do we got worked on?
Well, you come around the front, you see the grill is missing.
Oh, there's the grill.
Yeah, there's the grill on the floor.
What's going on around here?
Well, you can see we have no headlights.
Man, that's looking nice though.
Yeah.
Hey, simmer down, get out of here.
Spotlight. So, well, we painted the framing black, and we'll get into why in a little bit.
That looks cool. It looks legit. Okay, so here I'm still shaping. I ran out of filler. I was expecting my order to come in tomorrow in the mail, but it doesn't look like it's going to. So I'm going to run by the auto parts store first thing in the morning and continue filling and sanding and making it perfected. So my next step is to add a coat, sand it down, primer it, block that down, and see where my high-low spots are, and do it as many times as I need until it's perfected.
Look at that wrist action there. It's all about the wrist action.
Dang.
Bedroom Jams 101.7.
I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. It's already about 1:30, give or take. And I've gotten pretty far. For the most part, I need to get more filler so I can clean these lines up. Whew. But it's looking cool. So it's definitely worth it. I'm working these long hours and along with all my other daily stuff. But it's totally worth it. It's so neat to see everything come together. Gabe's truck's coming together. We got like cool stickers that we're putting all over the place, all crazy, but they're cool. So let's look at the rear quarter panel fender first. I stayed up late working on it, and so this is where it's at. So just flattening this piece out so it stays along with the body line. This angle is getting real nice and sharp edged, and this flat piece is pretty much already set in stone. I think it looks good like this, but we'll find out. But it's all nicely rounded. This section as well, it's already kind of like kicked off. I know last time you saw there was this dip here. Went ahead and filled it in, and then we're going to kind of go and see if I need to trim away. But this is kind of cool for me. So it comes in a nice line, and then about here it kind of flattens out a little bit, kind of like comes together. So I still have to trim this area. It's pretty much all nice and smooth. Just have to go and trim this up slowly but surely so that way it sits flush against the body. I've already filled in this section all here. This is the process. This is the part that takes forever because it has to be so perfect, and like I've guaranteed everybody that they're going to get a perfect piece that sits on there, smooth, ready to rock and roll. So the little work is possible. Of course, I still need the rivet holes. I've had a couple of questions about that. What I'm doing is making everything smooth, getting my thickness right, and then I'll go ahead and get those done and do those final touches. Easy stuff. And then I have this section, which is coming together as well. Also a very nice sharp line. I'm having it kind of pretty much represent that side. So, and then about, I have to say like 3 millimeters of this gets cut off, so that way it sits right at the side skirt line. And then I'm also kind of like setting up and fixing this so it's real nice and flat. So next is the front fender flare. That's what I always try to say. Let me go get that. Here's the front one. It's already in a like olive drab primer. I don't know if you can tell in the screen, but it's smooth. It's smooth as smooth can be. The body line is where it needs to be. The only thing I have to do is trim this section here to match flush, so that way I can slightly move this up. And so if anything needs to change, I just have to flatten that out. So that way, because obviously this can't sit inside here, considering that the bumper still needs to go up here. So definitely can't leave it set like that. But all in all, it's smooth. It's got the shape. Of course I haven't wet sanded it, so you'll see spray lines on it. But it follows the lines where it needs to follow. It sits nice and flush. Here, I just need to make the adjustments, of course. But it sits flush as well. The only other thing I'm doing is I need to fill in small little pinholes, which is an easy deal. Just sharpen this line a hair more, and so that way it sits good. Everything else though is pretty much set. And this front fender flare is ready to replicate. The only thing I have to still do, snaps, almost tripped and fell, no! Is fix this section. So of course, if this section doesn't go well with, so what I was trying to say is I need to put all of this on the car, right? Which is sitting over there. I just did an oil change. And so this needs to go on the car. Ugh. I don't know what he got into, but I think he rolled around in some crappy dead animal. And so whenever he comes close by, he smells like death. So I feel like I'm like in Pet Cemetery or something, and he's walking around needing to eat or live or something. And then with his like belly all sunken in like that, the death dog. Anyhow, so what I need to do is put this fender on the car and of course push out the wheels, which I want to be doing here in a bit, and then get this to perfectly set on the TC2 as well. So I'm going to see whether or not I'm cutting it off or cutting it off and shaping it onto the side skirt. All in all, I need to figure that out. So that's the only thing that's pending on this front fender flare besides that little section there. But all in all, like, it sits pretty legit. It has a nice round curvature. It has a really cool slope and flow. And so that way it looks like it's coming through, all the way through the body and then up into the rear one. So believe it or not, there is a design factor into this. Like always, we got to follow body lines. We got to make it smooth and look cool. So next is put them on that sucker there. It's gonna suck because everything has to come off. Front bumper, this little top plastic thingy, fender, and then what's annoying is the plastic fender liner on both sides. But the reason why is because these flares are already cut. Fenders are already cut. I'm definitely going to be cutting my OEM fenders, but not until the kit is ready to be put on. So what am I going to do in the meantime with this cut, you ask? Very good question. Alright guys, so last I was saying that we're going to mock up the fender flare. So this is it mocked up. I did have to cut some of the inner wheel well plastic or whatever. So this is how it's looking on. There we go. So it looks cool. Let me tape it up and then I'll talk about what I'm going to do or where it needs its last few fixes. One sec.